Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Hey, real quick, before we get into this, I want to give a special shout out to my friends at Overtime for sponsoring this video. Their iOS app is taking sports content to another level for the next generation of sports fans. On their app, you're able to get live box scores, quick stats, and the latest updates on your favorite players as they perform. You can even click and get some of the latest stories on your favorite teams and other news around the different leagues. You can play in daily pools, make picks, and challenge your friends and others to prove your sports knowledge as the best. You can track these predictions in real time while watching games and stay up to date on how you're performing each and every week. Guys, I've downloaded this myself and I'm already enjoying all the innovative features and my own successful picks. Go ahead and check out the Overtime app by clicking the link down in the description. You will not be disappointed. What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome back to Philly Take with RB. You know what to do. Smash the like, hit the subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you're always up to date when I upload or go live. Be sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a rating and a review so it will be read in an upcoming show. Today we are back talking some Sixers as they come off a rough loss in Denver last night, 104-95. It was a lot closer than it probably should have been, thanks to our third unit coming out and playing hungrier than ever. There's something we definitely have to talk about that is on my mind. But first and foremost, I would like to start off by announcing that apparently, according to Shams, can't always trust Shams, but DeMarcus Cousins seems like he is going to be signing with the Los Angeles Clippers sometime in the next week, pending the physicals and all that good stuff. So the Sixers miss out on another guy. I definitely would have liked to bring Boogie in, especially, while Joel was out. Maybe could have been, served a role, maybe as a stretch big, who knows. But if this holds, then the Clippers are getting even better, and they're adding another potential weapon, another guy that may be able to play some valuable minutes. So we're still going to have to be active on the buyout market for a stretch or another type of big, but it looks like another one is going to be off the market. But anyway, I would like to start by saying, if you've been watching my content lately, my vids, my streams, I've been really pushing on the idea that the Sixers are going to have to shoot the ball consistently in the playoffs. We know that. But that, I've been saying that's really what it comes down to, is how Danny Green, can hit 4 or 5 threes on a given night. Can Seth Curry, play on or off the ball, but can he knock down shots because he's been inconsistent as well? And don't get me wrong, I'm still sticking to that notion. I still truly believe that, and it's going to be very, very huge in how far the Sixers go in the playoffs. But I definitely want to talk about something because, we all go game by game. It's a long season. We think, we evaluate, we reevaluate. And, maybe I've been missing something. Maybe there's another thing that I should be adding on to that. And, I got to say it, man. A lot of the Sixers playoffs hopes hinge on how Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons play consistently, every single game. Can they be consistent? The consistency, the effort level, just, the leadership of Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons is going to determine a long way. And it might end up being the deciding factor on how far this team can go in the playoffs. We saw in the past a lot with Joel Embiid, right? Joel Embiid under Brett Brown, under that whole tenure, Joel Embiid had it. He has that special factor to him, but he was always inconsistent. One game we would see 32, one game we would see 37. And then the next game, he would be getting clowned by Shaq and Charles Barkley because he would have, 6 points at the half. He would have 14 for a game. And we all preached, right? Like, let's see this consistency. It even came to a point where Joel was getting booed by Philly, and he told us to shush and all that stuff. But, under a quality head coach like Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid has been consistent. He's taken his game to another level, and he has been the MVP of the season. Now, the Sixers have been playing some inspired ball without him. We've had, a lot of our ladder depth pieces really step up in terms of shooting the ball and things of that nature. But I think we can rest assured that Joel Embiid is going to show up in the playoffs. He's going to be very consistent, and he's going to put up numbers at an all-time pace, especially with the system, designed around him. The system is designed around Joe. He's been taking advantage of every single feature of it, and he's been showing out this year when he's been on the court. But last night, And don't get me wrong, we came into the game, if you were on the stream, I said, the Denver Nuggets are a secret juggernaut here. They went out and bought at the deadline. They got Aaron Gordon for a great price. And the way they are able to fit in with each other, obviously having that tandem now with Murray and Jokic and having some of those role pieces like Will Barton, the Nuggets are trying to make a push up the West. They're trying to push up the ladder. And what I saw last night, don't get me wrong, we were outmatched. We were overpowered. There really wasn't any business of winning that game. But let me tell you something, man. We got blown out of the gym, and if it wasn't for the third unit who played so hungry, this team probably would have lost by like 30. And the Denver Nuggets had a historic first quarter, but honestly, they did not play well the rest of the game. So honestly, we almost probably could have been in the game. But here's where I have the problem, man. It comes down to Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. The effort level I saw last night is unacceptable. And I'm not going to rake these guys to the coals and just say they're trash and they're done. We've been playing some of the best ball all year, and we still don't have our main anchor in Joel Embiid. But the one thing that really ticks me off is like nobody wanted it last night. There was not a lot of floor spacing. There was not a lot of like aggressiveness, but nobody wanted the ball. And when it comes to Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons, especially if you don't have Joel Embiid in, you got to step up, man. You got to step up. And I'm not saying they are the only reasons we lost last night, but when I look at Tobias Harris, 6 for 13 with 12 points, 3 rebounds, couple assists, couple steals, couple blocks. Tobias Harris, like that's an okay game, right? But he didn't get to the line at all. And with Joel Embiid out, and you're pretty much becoming the main scoring option at that point, I'd rather have Tobias take 18 shots, take 20 shots, take 22 shots. I didn't like that at all from Tobias. I felt he had one of those quiet games where he goes unnoticed, where he's had in the past, the past couple, last year he averaged almost 20 points, but when we got in the playoffs, he didn't show up, right? He didn't show up. Ben Simmons last night went 4 for 7 from the field with 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists and 2 steals. And he got to the line twice. That can't happen from your top players. And like I said, I feel like I've kind of been overlooking this a little bit, just, based off the track of the season. I've been saying like, Simmons and Tobias are going to show up. They've been playing better ball. They've been playing near the top this year. I don't think that's a given. I don't. I think Joel Embiid's going to show up, but Tobias Harris, for a guy that averaged 20 last year, used to get a ton of hate and criticism. Let's be honest, he was flat out awful in the playoff series against the Boston Celtics when he was asked to do more, when he was asked to step up. And, that's not all his fault. There's part of that with the system and Brett Brown as well. We know that. We needed more shooting and more spacing, but I'm really hoping that Tobias Harris can step up, and I think he will. I definitely think he will. It's more about wanting it and just taking the shots. If Tobias takes a ton of shots, if he goes 5 for 19, I'm going to be mad he couldn't hit the shots, but I'm not going to be mad, necessarily at him because he has been pretty consistent this year. When it comes to Ben Simmons, 4 for 7 is not good. Let's be honest, man. Again, Ben Simmons early in this year was getting highly criticized, and before the All-Star break he really turned it up. He had his comments where he said, I have to remind myself to turn it on, and for that stretch he was remarkable. Here's what I don't like from Ben Simmons. This was a quote last night about the game. The first thing Ben Simmons said was, there was difficulty adjusting to the elevation in Denver, the altitude. It was the first thing I think guys were a little shook and tired to start. I'm not going to say that that's not true because I have heard stories about how hard it is to play in Denver, in Colorado. But let's be honest, man, that's you guys are NBA players. You travel all around. You were there before the game. Like, I don't think that's the first thing you should come out and say in a press conference like that when your main guys on the team played lazy. I don't really appreciate that. Now, I will give Ben credit for coming back and, kind of reviving himself. He said, I got to get my together. He said it. And Doc Rivers agreed, and more so about Ben and the whole team. He said, no excuses. We didn't play well. There was one quote where he said, I wanted the shot clock to speed up so we could get out of there. And Doc didn't have a good game either. Let's be honest with that. The rotations were very suspect. It was a 10-point game with a couple minutes. Didn't bring the starters back in. Maybe that was a little shot. Like, they didn't give the effort level. And on Ben Simmons, he said since the All-Star break, he's got to play better. We all got to play better. And I absolutely agree. You know, Ben, like I was trying to say, he was getting criticized and he had that huge tear right before the All-Star game. He got in. And then ever since the All-Star break, he's been up and down again. He had a nice game against Golden State where he had, 22, I believe it was. Or no, I think that was a couple games before, but then he had, games of 16 and 15. And then he had games where there was one game a few games ago where I think that was a Golden State game where he had 9 points and he went 1 for 7. And then last game against the Clippers, I forget what he had. It was like 11 points. Last night, 11, so something in that range. But overall, it just wasn't, it hasn't been good enough. And Ben Simmons on the defensive side of the ball and this team on the defensive side of the ball have not been showing enough hustle over the last couple games. Against the Clippers, we were letting Kawhi have his way all day, every day. Last night, Michael Porter Jr. had 27. Jamal Murray had 30. And, when it comes to Ben Simmons, it's continually frustrating. I love Ben Simmons. I'm a Ben guy. But at the end of the day, man, his aggressiveness is going to really depend. It's going to influence a lot. A lot is going to depend on that in the playoffs, how far this team can go. Because Joe's not going to be able to lead us every night just by himself. And the frustrating thing with Ben is that it's whenever he turns it on. It's when he turns on that mental switch. He locks it into place and he cannot be stopped going downhill. Ben, when he turns it on, and this is without a jump shot, without a 15-foot jump shot, cannot be stopped. We know how much more lethal he would be with a little shot, maybe a little elbow shot. But man, Ben Simmons, when he turns it on, is unstoppable. But when he plays like he did last night, it is just pathetic. For a $30 million man who's one of our stars, you can't play like that. 2 rebounds from Ben and 3 from Tobias. There's no hustle on that. And like I said, the main overarching thing is they didn't look like they wanted it. Nobody looked like they wanted it. Our main scorer was Tyrese Maxey. Our leading scorer had 13 points. I mean, that's just inexcusable. Dwight Howard was our leading scorer at halftime with 10 points. Dwight Howard. These types of things can't happen. And when we play these better teams, and like I said, I did not expect a win against the Denver Nuggets, but you can't come in and play so pathetic like that. It's especially for a team, if we had 15 wins, if we were 15 and 33, I wouldn't give a damn. But we are one of the best teams in the East. And, we're trying to make a push here. We're trying to make a push. So what we have seen over the last stretch of Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, a few games here and there, he has his off games, I think, but, Tobias Harris has had his 30-point game, 29-point, he's had, 25. So, I mean, it's what we want and what we expect from Tobias. But last night, both of their energy levels were just effortless, man, and I don't like to see that. And when we get to the playoffs, the way teams are going to guard Tobias Harris, they're going to put a lot of pressure on him. Will he keep that mindset up? Will he continue to get to that mid-range where his shot is bread and butter? And will he keep letting it fly? And will he be able to knock it down? Again, Joel takes a lot of pressure off that. Will Ben Simmons be able to play effectively off the ball? Will Doc get him in the right situations? And when Ben has it, last night it was some of the old Ben we were seeing. The come down the floor, stop on a pivot, not even look towards the basket. He had Jamal Murray in the post at one point. He had Michael Porter Jr., and he was not attacking those mismatches. He was not hitting them with a drop step. He was not driving and kicking. No, he wasn't really doing much. And I just don't get it when your best player is out. And maybe we got to reevaluate. Again, our shooting is going to be vital. How these guys knock down shots will be important. But overall, the play of Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris is going to hinge a lot of things. And it's really going to tell a lot about the future. It really is about what our direction will be and what Daryl Morey will decide to do. There's no reason that the third unit, guys like Rajon Tucker, guys like Paul Reed, guys like Tyrese Maxey, guys like Isaiah Joe, there's no reason, Furkan, Korkan, there is no reason that these guys should be able to come in the game and outwork the starting unit. It's not acceptable. So I'm hoping we get it together. The last couple games, defensive performances have been sloppy. And, we're going to have to get it back on track. Hopefully Joe comes back. We incorporate George Hill. A lot of things have to go right, but we need more out of our stars, and you know, I need them to give 110% every night. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it, guys. You let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What did you think about the game last night? What did you think about the effort level? Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.